So in Vegas, okay, they hired Josh McDaniels last year. They think, oh, him and Derek Carr can elevate the Raiders to the next level after making the playoffs in 2021 under special teamer Tony Bichetta. I probably said that name incorrectly, but who cares? They traded first and a second round pick for Devontae Adams, and they said, oh, Fresno State coming back, 1-2 combo. Raiders are going to be running the West. That's what they're going to do. But instead, it was a bit of a flop of a season. Derek Carr gets benched. He leaves the facility. Doesn't come back to the facility until the Pro Bowl. I mean, and then that was a weird interaction they had to deal with there. Derek Carr gets cut. He goes to New Orleans. They bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, who knows Josh McDaniel's system because he was there for 3 years in New England. And now we get to this point. Let's see. Where's the button? There it is. So with Jimmy G, who suffered a broken foot last year against the Miami Dolphins, did not heal correctly, and he's still kind of questionable going forward right now. Apparently, he's going to be projected to be healthy for training camp and whatnot. Here is their roster going forward. They bring in Jacoby Myers from New England, Philip Dorsett, Keelan Cole. Offensive line, they drop Alex Leatherwood, who had a fight with Mono last year with the Bears. Pretty entertaining fight. Colton Miller, former first-round pick of 2018. They trade away Darren Waller, another big piece from the Raiders, and then they bring in Austin Hooper, O.J. Howard, and they draft who some think was the best tight end in the 2023 draft, Michael Mayer, out of Notre Dame. And what's interesting here right now is Josh Jacobs. He's currently on the franchise tag. They have until Monday at 4 p.m. to sign said extension. If not, he has to play on the franchise tender, which is $10.1 million. So, what are your thoughts on the New England, Las Vegas Patriots here?
It is definitely you're looking at a completely different appearance, obviously, here. You know, we've seen the same sort of kind of Raiders appearance with Derek Carr, Darren Waller, pieces together like that. And you've seen that appearance for years. And this is entirely a different appearance other than Josh Jacobs, which we know what we're getting. And last year we got maybe a top 5 running back in the league. That was solid. But this receiving game, passing game is 100% different. A little bit of difference on the line. Yeah. And Patriots all over. Jimmy Garoppolo, Philip Dorsett, Jacoby Myers. So, I don't know. There's some recipes here that could work. Jimmy G, Hunter Renfrow is kind of in that style a little bit. Josh McDaniels there. Jacoby Myers is even a pretty safe receiver to throw to, and doing some switching around. Thank you, Will. And either way, I mean, there are recipes here that could work together pretty well. But Colton said it. They could also be a dumpster fire.
I'm leaning there to be a dumpster fire.
So
I'm going dumpster fire too. We're talking about a guy that had a quarterback guru and offensive wizard in Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to throw the football with him. Now he's gonna have to throw the football quite a bit with that division because their defense is not elite.
No.
So they're gonna have to put points up. So it comes down to the man in the box, and that is Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, It's a quarterback league for a reason, and especially in the AFC. It is all on Jimmy G, and there's already questions about him with his physical going into this season with the Raiders. So I have no idea how this is going to work out for Vegas. I don't know if they're getting lucky, Will. I don't know if they're getting lucky.
There's two stats.
Also, if Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't play, they could get out of that contract with not paying him a single penny.
Great, then they're in square one again. So they better full-blown tank.
They got Aiden O'Connell. Come on, Purdue.
I just realized also Brian Hoyer because, of course. I just realized that because, of course, Brian Hoyer. But
you also miss Brandon Bolton.
Is he on this team?
Yeah, he's right behind Amir Abdul. I forgot Amir Abdul is even in this league still. It's been so long.
But, I mean, Brandon Bolton's, Brandon Bolton. We know what we get with
something I do want to bring up. So last time Jimmy G started all 16 games, or a full season, because now they're not 16, they're 17 with the Niners in 2019. I mean, 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, a quarter under 4,000 yards passing. That's fairly decent for him, I gotta say. I mean,
but you also have an
might have,
guru there.
he might have better targets than he did in San
Yeah, so
Francisco.
the Niners.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a rookie Debo. They didn't even have Ayuk back then.
But I don't know.
They were never good at. They're not going to be good at passing the ball, and they weren't really last year.
Yeah.
And they're terrible defending the passing game. Colton said it's a quarterback league in a quarterback division. Those two things don't add up well.
No, 100%.
Who has a better?
Again, they're either third or fourth in quarterback play in the division. Like if it's really dumpster fire, Russell Wilson, they're third. Great. And if Russ is halfway decent, they're fourth. Like that's not a great place to be in your division that has first ballot Hall of Famer guy that's still lighting the league on fire in Mahomes. Herbert on the rise. We'll see what they can finally do there because the Chargers have to finally get a playoff win. Like they just choke everything away. So if the Chargers can finally get a playoff win, they're on and rolling. And by the way, this team is so running back dominant, wanting to run the ball and control the game. You may not even know if you have Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
these guys won't get paid, so he could do it. He can do the same thing Barkley's doing. And then you're stuck with Brandon Bolden and Amir Abdullah. So this could really get nasty here.
yeah, that offensive line's not good enough to really play that game, nor the defense.
No, they miss Rodney Hudson, man. They miss him. They miss Gabe Jackson. That offensive line, from 6 years ago, was so great, and now it's just I don't know what's happening here. It's sad.
And these aren't bad tight ends, but you're still downgrading in the tight end category as well.
Well, I mean, they're probably paying all these tight ends the same amount as they would pay Waller.
Probably together. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying.
Austin Hooper's probably getting paid $5 million, $6 million. Myers, $1 million. OJ Howard's $2 million. And then you got three guys that are just going to get cut after.
There are so many Patriots on this team. It blows. Even the fullback, Patriots player, Jacob Johnson. It blows my mind how many Patriots are on this team. I mean, I get it, Josh McDaniels, but geez.
Let's
move it over.
Let's move over here. So the defense here, I mean, Jerry Tillery, I mean, that's a pretty big piece. Chandler Jones, I mean, it was besides there's one kind of big game last year, he was kind of quiet, but the addition of Tyree Wilson, they did draft a lot of defensive players. I mean, even though they might be later, I mean, they also got, some undrafted free agents too.
They did draft a lot of players.
Outside of Marcus Epps,
I
don't like the secondary. Marcus Epps is the only guy I know.
David Long's good. I like David Long a lot for the price tag they got him for.
There's some guys on here.
Trayvon. Oh yeah, Trayvon.
Yeah.
They got from
There's some guys you
Arizona.
be all right.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
I was banking on them to have at least a decent defense last year.
Yeah.
But that never happened. I thought Max Crosby and Chandler Jones would be a lot better. I was a big believer in a lot of their younger guys they drafted recently, like Morig and Divine Diablo.
Yep.
And it just nothing has worked. None of the secondary guys or outside of lineman guys on the defense the last 6 years they drafted have worked out.
What about Robert Spillane there, Colton? Will he be any good? I'm not sure if he was
I like Bob Spillane.
I don't know if you're sad that he may have left Pittsburgh or whatnot.
No, Pittsburgh needed a whole new middle linebacker crew room. Clean house, got new guys in. But yeah, I like Bob Spillane. Good for him. He got his bag. It relies on Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, and we saw how that worked last season. And Chandler Jones is getting another year older now, so they got to put up points. It's literally what it comes down to in the AFC West. How many points can you score? And no idea how many points you're going to score.
At least Denver has the defense that can try to slow down Kansas City and LA. This one just gets dog walked.
It's valid. It's a valid point.
Let me pull up their schedule here.
It's slightly
I'll zoom in on it really quick. Let's do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, there we go. Much better.
Looking at it right here, 4 wins.
Okay, let's to go back. Right, I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. What's our benchmark here? 6-11.
6-11.
3-3 is actually better than I expected or thought it was going to be. But
I'm telling you, they could finish with 8 wins too. Not much better. Honestly, they could be around the same. Like, who do you got in the schedule that you love? We both just called Denver dumpster fire possibly with them, so that could be a coin flip. They can both split that. The Colts possibly, but not guaranteed. Like, their defense is so bad, they can get blown out in a lot of these games, and then it forces Jimmy G to sit back and throw the ball, and Jimmy G gets hurt like week 4. This could be an absolute disaster for them.
This could be a 3-win season as well.
This could be very bad.
Yeah. Like, I look at the schedule and I am not confident in
only games you can possibly pick out and say win maybe Bears and Colts.
I don't
Patriots maybe.
Maybe one. The one.
That's what I'm saying, Jake. Like, there's nothing here that you love.
2 at most, maybe if you think Green Bay doesn't take that step with Jordan Love.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Maybe get a lucky one against the Giants, Colts. Yeah.
There's nothing here I love.
Maybe the Vikings too. I mean, the Vikings were like a really weird team last year.
Yeah. Jeez.
I think this team could easily be the worst team in the division.
Easily.
I think they will.
Very easily.
Probably in the AFC, they could even be the worst team. Like,
8 wins I gave Denver were against Vegas.
Yeah.
Like, I think they sweep them.
This is just
because you're asking Jimmy G to play mistake-free football against a good defense. With no line and moderate weapons.
You look at all these teams, right? They either have a decent defense or they're just going to outscore the Raiders on offense. Like,